Welcome to Here's How We Get There. It's the daily show filled with conversations about business and mental health in a down-to-earth style with real-world language. Now let's dive in with your co-hosts, Kenneth Shark Kinney and Trey Tucker.
All right, Trey, it is Sunday, and we're going to talk about Lions, but not the Detroit Lions who blew the game last weekend to the 49ers, but we're going to talk about Daniel and the Lions. So really short and sweet biblical story. King Darius had brought in Daniel to oversee part of his Persian kingdom to help run the country, and he chose Daniel to help with this. Well, in short, the people around the king became very jealous of Daniel, and they really argued about Daniel praying to God. And so the king decreed that no one else could pray to anyone else other than him, because of he was listening to his minions who were jealous and envious of Daniel. Because Daniel prayed again to God, they threw him into the lion's den. And the king was nervous. He was upset about it, but he also cared very much for Daniel. He's hated seeing this, but he was in the belief system that everybody needed to pray to him. Daniel survived the night, as everybody knows, and wakes up. And, especially if you read any children's versions of this, he's basically sitting there, like Siegfried and Roy, hanging out with the lions and petting them. But the whole story comes down to, at least for me, a few lessons that I think people should really think about and take away that have nothing to do with King Darius or the Detroit Lions. But basically, some of the lessons is the world will often turn its back on us and find ways to target what we truly believe in. And that applies to Christians as well. We need to focus on God no matter what the distraction is. I think that's extremely important, because it's very easy to become ADHD in your faith if you're not focused on what's important. And always know that regardless of what direction you're in, or at least focus on him, God will always reward our faith in him. And he proved that through the lesson he taught the king. And obviously the king, once he saw that Daniel was okay, said it was okay to pray to God, not to him, that was the one and true God. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, you're testing my ADHD and focus abilities with all those fish that are swimming behind you in such perfect unison. I can't take my eyes off of those. So, but yeah, all those lessons are definitely spot on. And my 2 or 3 favorite words of that whole story is "even if," is when Daniel and his friends said, "Look, God's gonna rescue us, but even if he doesn't, we're still not gonna pray to you." And I mean, you talk about ultimate loyalty, and really what it comes down to is, who do you fear the most? Because they had a lot to be afraid of from an earthly level at that point, with Darius threatening them with death and all kinds of other painful circumstances leading up to the death. But they feared God more, and they also knew that God loved them and was compassionate enough to save them. And so it made them incredibly bold. Can't even imagine saying to somebody, "You know what, God's going to rescue me, but even if he doesn't, even if I do die in this thing, I'm going down without praying to you."
See you on the other side.
Thank you for joining Shark and Trey on the Here's How We Get There show. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show, and visit here'showwegetthere.com. That's here'showwegetthere.com.